Welcome back to the Metabolic Compass podcast, where we recalibrate your biology and rediscover your direction. I'm your host, Brandon Soika, and if you're someone who's tried every hack, every cleanse, every reset, but you still feel stuck, tired, or off track, this episode is for you. The problem might not be what you're doing, it might be when you're doing it. We're talking today about why order matters more than motivation, why even the best health protocols won't work if you start in the wrong place, and how understanding the biological sequence of healing is what finally unlocks real sustainable progress. And if you haven't already, hit pause and take the free Compass Drift quiz at themetaboliccompass.com/quiz. It'll show you exactly which domain of your health is drifting and where to start your 2-week reset. Let's get into it. You're doing all the right things. You're eating clean, hitting the gym, taking the supplements, maybe even journaling or tracking your HRV. And yet you're still tired, or inflamed, or anxious, or wired and exhausted at the same time. So what gives? Here's the truth. Your body isn't ignoring your effort. It's ignoring your timing. Biology isn't powered by willpower. It's powered by order. And when you try to heal in the wrong order, even the best strategy can backfire. This is what we call being out of sequence. And it's why some people can do everything right and still feel worse. Not because they're broken, but because they're trying to build a house on sand. The foundation hasn't been laid. Imagine your biology as a compass with 4 directions. Each one represents a core domain of health. Nurture, safety, inflammation, gut-brain immune balance. Energize, mitochondria, metabolic flexibility, protein regulation. Strengthen, regeneration, repair, cellular resilience. Withdraw, cleanup, signaling, and long-term recalibration. If you're exhausted but inflamed and you jump straight into an Energize strategy, like fasting or intense workouts, you might feel worse, not better. Why? Because your body hasn't stabilized the inflammation and immune signals yet. It's trying to sprint with an open wound. Or maybe you're trying to detox heavy metals or reset your hormones, but your gut lining is leaky and your liver is overburdened. The withdrawal systems simply can't do their job when the terrain is compromised. This isn't about discipline or mindset. It's about directional sequencing. The Compass framework teaches that healing isn't linear, it's directional. Each domain builds the capacity for the next one. You can't fuel a system that isn't safe. You can't rebuild a system that isn't fueled. And you can't clean up a system that isn't stable. That's why the most successful resets aren't the most intense ones. They're the most well-sequenced ones. And here's the key. You don't have to guess where to start. Your symptoms are the signal. That's what the Compass Drift quiz decodes. It tells you this is the domain that's most off course right now. That's your starting point. Healing is like tuning a 4-string instrument. If one string is wildly out of tune, you can't play a perfect chord just by cranking up the volume. You've got to bring each string back into alignment in the right order. So if you've been plateauing or burning out or feeling like you're pushing and not getting results, stop. Don't add more stress to the system. Step back, get your direction right. And the minute you do that, the results feel less like force and more like flow. In the next segment, we'll break down exactly how these domains stack, why the Compass sequence works, and how it changes the way you approach your health starting today. Let's make something clear right now. Biology is not transactional. Your body doesn't say, because you fasted today, I'll reward you with more energy tomorrow. Or, because you lifted heavy at the gym, I'll go ahead and burn more fat. That kind of thinking is effort-based. But biology doesn't respond to effort. It responds to readiness and sequence. And this is why so many smart, motivated people end up frustrated. They're stacking habits, buying protocols, starting 6 a.m. routines, but their biology isn't ready to respond. Not because they're doing something wrong, but because they're doing it out of order. Let's break this down using the Compass model. Each of the 4 domains, nurture, energize, strengthen, and withdraw, represents a unique biological function. Nurture is your baseline of safety. It's your inflammation load, gut-brain signaling, immune balance. It asks, am I safe? Energize is your ability to create, store, and shift energy. It's mitochondrial health, protein quality control, and metabolic flexibility. Strengthen is your regeneration cycle, how well you repair, recover, and keep cellular systems youthful. And withdraw is cleanup and recalibration. Detox pathways, autophagy, intercellular communication, signal tuning. Each one builds upon the next. But here's the catch. You don't always start at nurture. You start at where you're drifting. The domain most out of alignment is the one causing your current symptoms. And that's where your biology is sending a signal. Start here. Let me give you an example. Let's say someone feels totally burned out. No motivation, no drive. Maybe they've gained weight despite doing everything right. They're probably tempted to push harder, add more workouts, more fasting, more supplements. But if their nurture domain is still inflamed, maybe they have gut issues, poor sleep quality, or chronic immune activation, then the body sees all that effort as threat, not therapy. You can't build on an unstable terrain. So what does sequencing look like in practice? Stabilize nurture first. If inflammation and safety are disrupted, that means supporting the gut barrier, calming immune activity, and reducing background stress load. Once the terrain is safe, shift to energize. Support mitochondria, restore metabolic flexibility, and regulate your fuel sensors, AMP-K and mTOR. Then move into strengthen. Cellular repair, hormone resilience, and stem cell renewal become more effective when energy is flowing. Finally, layer in withdrawal. Support detox, autophagy, and signal refinement with less friction and fewer side effects. You're not skipping steps. You're sequencing your healing in a way that honors how the body actually works. When you push ahead too soon, like jumping into a parasite cleanse while you're still bloated and inflamed, or trying cold plunges when your nervous system is already overloaded, your biology will push back. Sometimes it shows up as fatigue, sometimes as sleep disruption, sometimes you just feel flat. Instead of asking, what's the most powerful protocol I can follow right now? Ask, what is my body ready to respond to? That one shift can change your entire trajectory. This is why the compass isn't just a cute metaphor. It's a biological hierarchy that mirrors how the body works. It's directional healing where each domain unlocks the next one. And remember, when you take the drift quiz, you're not just labeling a problem, you're identifying the entry point to your healing sequence. If you haven't already taken it, pause this episode, go to themetaboliccompass.com/quiz and find your drift. That's where your biology is asking for attention first. Coming up next, we'll go deeper into the actual sequence, including the science behind why each domain must be addressed in the right order and why skipping ahead is the biggest mistake even the most disciplined people make. If you've ever built a house or even just stacked Lego blocks with your kids, you know this is true. The foundation comes first. Try to skip that step and the whole thing collapses. That's exactly what happens when you try to force change in our biology without respecting the compass hierarchy. This isn't just a metaphor. It's a physiological cascade. Each compass domain builds the conditions necessary for the next to function properly. Let's walk through the hierarchy and show you why you cannot and should not skip steps. Step 1, nurture. This is where it all begins. Why? Because nurture governs safety at the most fundamental level: gut lining, immune surveillance, inflammatory load, and neuroimmune signaling. If this domain is dysregulated, your body is in a state of alert. Even if you don't feel anxious or wired, your biology is scanning for threat, digestive, microbial, emotional, or otherwise. In this state, you lose the ability to respond to adaptive stressors. That means workouts feel harder, fasting feels draining, your hormones don't respond predictably. You lose your rhythm. And motivation, gone. Trying to push through without stabilizing nurture is like trying to pour concrete on a swamp. Step 2, energize. Once nurture is stable, when inflammation is lowered, the gut-liver axis is working, and immune tone is balanced, you get access to the next layer of resilience, energy production and regulation. Here, mitochondria are tasked with creating ATP from carbs, fats, and proteins. They're incredibly sensitive to stress. If the background noise from inflammation or immune chaos is still too loud, they scale back output. It's a protective mechanism. This is why energy doesn't improve just because you start taking supplements or getting more sleep. If nurture isn't calibrated, Energize can't respond. But once it does, that's when you see profound shifts in blood sugar stability, mental clarity, workout capacity, and metabolic rhythm. Now the body's willing to adapt, which brings us to step 3, strengthen. With energy flowing, the body shifts into repair mode. This is where cellular regeneration, hormone signaling, and tissue recovery come into play. Strengthen is about keeping your body young by preserving telomeres, clearing senescent cells, and maintaining stem cell reserves. All of those systems are expensive. They require metabolic energy, mitochondrial support, and low inflammatory friction. If you try to optimize hormones or boost recovery while you're still metabolically fragile, it backfires. You might stimulate testosterone, but your system doesn't have the bandwidth to respond. You might increase growth hormone, but recovery feels flat. Strengthen only thrives when Energize is online and Nurture is anchored. Finally, step 4, withdraw. This is the cleanup crew, the tuning fork, the system check. Withdraw is where you refine the signal, where you purge accumulated waste, clear broken proteins, recalibrate intercellular communication, and trigger autophagy. But here's the thing about withdrawal. It's not about doing more. It's about removing interference. Trying to fast aggressively or detox while nurture is still unstable, or energy is still lagging, or hormones are still compensating, that's a recipe for disaster. You won't detox, you'll deplete. You won't reboot, you'll rebound. Withdrawal is earned. It's unlocked after the other domains have stabilized. It's what allows the fine-tuning of biology to actually land. Why skipping all the hierarchy fails. If this all sounds obvious, just know most of the supplement, fitness, and biohacking industry ignores this entirely. They sell us top-of-the-pyramid solutions, cold exposure, red light therapy, peptide stacks, extended fasts, when the foundation is still cracked. No wonder people don't feel better. No wonder compliance tanks. No wonder motivation fades. It's not that the intervention was wrong, it was out of order. And here's the best part of understanding this hierarchy. It gives you permission to go at your body's pace, not the internet's pace. This isn't about rushing to get to withdraw or hacking your way straight to strengthen. It's about letting your biology tell you where to begin. Again, that's what the Drift Quiz does. It doesn't label you. It doesn't diagnose you. It points to an entry point of real change. And when you start there, no matter how small the intervention, the body responds. Because biology doesn't need motivation. It needs alignment. We all want to feel better faster. So we go after the most popular tools first. Biohacking, fasting, HIIT workouts, nootropics, detox kits, hormone panels. But if those tools don't match what your biology actually needs right now, the result isn't progress. Pushback. Here's what happens when you start your health journey in the wrong direction on the compass. You start with Energize, fasting, keto, HIIT, and burnout. You feel tired, so you assume you need more energy. Naturally, you reach for strategies that promise metabolic upgrades. Intermittent fasting, cold plunges, early morning workouts, low-carb eating. But if your nurture system, the gut-liver immune axis, is already drifting, your biology isn't ready for stressors, even if they're good ones. Instead of boosting your mitochondria, fasting makes your cortisol spike. Instead of clearing brain fog, keto makes you feel wired and flat. Instead of waking up energy, HIIT just crashes your blood sugar harder. The result? You blame yourself. You assume you didn't do it right. But really, your body was trying to say, wrong direction. You start with strengthen. Hormone stacks, cold plunges, testosterone boosters, and get nothing. Maybe your labs show low testosterone or irregular cycles. So you jump straight into hormone-focused strategies. You optimize your macros, you try heavy lifting, you double down on morning sun and zinc and Tongkat Ali. But nothing changes. Why? Because your system is still inflamed. Your gut isn't absorbing nutrients efficiently. Your brain is still receiving threat signals. You can't build hormonal strength when your foundation is unstable. The strengthen domain only activates once nurture and energize have done their job. Skipping ahead doesn't fast-track your results. It stalls them. So you start with withdrawal, detox protocols, sauna, and fasting mimics, and crash. This is one of the most common missteps we see in high performers and functional health circles. You've done a GI map or a mycotoxin panel, or a heavy metal test. You want a clean house, so you dive headfirst into it. Fasting mimicking diets, intense detox supplements, saunas, binders, lymph drainage, multiple day fasts. But if your nurture system is compromised and your mitochondria are struggling, detox doesn't work. You're just mobilizing toxins your body can't clear. This is where people get stuck for months. They feel inflamed, tired, emotionally flat, digestion slow, sleep gets weird, and they assume they're just detoxing. But really, they're dysregulating. Because withdrawal tools only work when your body is ready for refinement, not when it's still stuck in a danger pattern. Your system gets confused and you ultimately blame yourself. When the order is wrong, nothing works like it should. Your body doesn't respond to the plan. Your symptoms bounce around. Your mood dips. Your energy swings from wired to exhausted. And worst of all, you start thinking, maybe I'm just broken. This is where the cycle becomes psychological. You lose confidence in your body. You jump from program to program, diet to diet, test to test, hoping something will finally click. But nothing changes until the sequence is corrected. So how do you know you started in the wrong direction? Here are the red flags we see most often. You're doing everything right but feel worse. The tools that helped before suddenly backfire. You can't tolerate supplements or certain foods anymore. You have extreme highs and lows in energy, mood, and digestion. You feel like your body is in a holding pattern, stuck, sluggish, inflamed. If this is you, it doesn't mean you failed. It just means you're not starting in the right place. And here's the key. Your biology doesn't need a bigger push. It needs the right signal in the right order. Coming up, what happens when the order is right? We'll show you what it looks like when you change flows naturally, stop forcing results, and start restoring direction. Because motivation isn't your problem. Sequence is. It's tempting to believe that if you just had the right plan, the right gadget, or the right morning routine, everything would finally click. That the fog would lift, the weight would fall off, the energy would return. But here's the hard truth. Most wellness strategies aren't failing because they're bad. They're failing because they're showing up at the wrong time. Imagine walking into the gym with a torn ligament and being handed a strength training plan. It's not that the exercises are harmful in theory, it's that they weren't designed for a body still in need of repair. This is exactly what is happening in the wellness world every day. People are handed routines, supplements, biohacks, or diet plans that were never meant for the physiological state they're currently in. Let's take cold plunges, for example. Are they powerful? Absolutely. But if your system is already stuck in fight or flight, adding more stress, even controlled stress, can send the wrong signal. Instead of teaching the body resilience, it reinforces the perception that the world is unsafe. Or consider intermittent fasting. When used appropriately, it's a fantastic metabolic tool. But for someone with nurture drift, who's already showing signs of gut fragility, immune overreaction, and burnout, fasting can push their biology deeper into depletion. It becomes a withdrawal, not a reset. Even something as simple as a wearable can backfire. When you're tracking your sleep or HRV obsessively, without the tools to actually improve it, you're not guiding recovery, you're accumulating guilt. Over time, that guilt erodes your sense of agency. You start to believe that your body just isn't cut out for healing. That's why we don't start with trends in the Metabolic Compass. We start with timing, feedback first, then capacity building, then strategy. Directional sequencing is the missing piece in most health plans. Not because people don't care, not because they're lazy or undisciplined, but because they've been chasing symptoms instead of building systems. When you start with the Compass framework, you flip that sequence on its head. You stop trying to force your body to comply. Instead, you read it. You meet it where it is, not where you think it should be. And once you do that, something remarkable happens. The small changes start to stick. The energy rebounds. The fog clears. Not because you did more, but because you did what your body could actually receive. This is the power of directional sequencing. And it's why motivation is never the issue. It's never been about how badly you want it. It's always been about whether your biology is ready to receive it. This is where it all comes together. If you've ever stood in front of a dozen supplement bottles or stared at your wearable data wondering what to do next, this is your starting point. Not another plan, not another trend, but a map. The Drift Quiz isn't just a fun personality type health test. It's a GPS locator for your biology. It shows you where your body is actually drifting right now, not where your symptoms are loudest or where you're most frustrated, but where your internal compass has veered off course. Let's say your Drift Quiz points to the Energize domain. That means your mitochondria, nutrient sensing, and cellular cleanup systems are likely underperforming. In that case, fasting, cold plunges, or intense workouts might be too much right now. Instead, you'd begin with strategies that support fuel utilization, protein handling, and circadian scaffolding. If your drift is in nurture, that's not the time to reach for a stimulant or performance plan. It's the time to stabilize the gut-liver immune axis, bring inflammation down, restore mucosal safety, lay the groundwork so your system can eventually receive stress signals again without shutting down. And here's the part that matters. Your drift domain is not your identity. It's not permanent. It's not your current coordinates. And the compass gives you the sequence to move forward from where you are, not from where you wish you were. The 2-week reset you'll receive after taking the quiz is built around logic. It's your minimum viable practice, one that aligns with your actual biology. It gives you structure without overwhelm, movement without exhaustion, clarity without complexity. And coming soon, we're releasing full 10-week compass resets. These go deeper into each domain: nurture, energize, strengthen, and withdraw. They'll walk you through the exact tools, practices, and rhythms to move from drift to alignment. But the best way to prepare for those? Start now. Know where you are. Take the quiz, get your reset, and begin. Because when you follow the right order, your biology will do the rest. Let's land this plane together. You've now heard the core idea behind the Metabolic Compass, that order, not motivation, is the key to real transformation. That chasing trends without checking your coordinates will always lead to burnout, frustration, and stagnation. That you don't need another 30-day plan. You need a starting point your body can actually handle. So here's your compass check-in. Are you chasing hacks, but still tired? Tracking sleep, but still wired? Eating clean, but still inflamed? Then your problem isn't effort, it's sequence. You're not broken, you're out of sync. We say that a lot, but let it land this time. It's not about pushing harder, it's about pivoting smarter. Your biology is built on rhythm, communication, and adaptability, but it can only respond to what it can currently receive. If your gut is inflamed, your nervous system overstimulated, your mitochondria sluggish, or your cells overloaded, you can't force progress. You have to sequence it. That's the entire reason we built the Drift Quiz. It's short, free, and it gives you a clear answer. Which domain are you drifting in right now, and what you should do next? Once you know your domain, nurture, energize, strengthen, or withdraw, you'll get a tailored 2-week reset that meets your biology where it is. You'll stop guessing and finally start making forward momentum again. When you align your actions with your body's current capacity, everything changes. You don't just feel better, you stay better. The inflammation settles, the energy rebuilds, the cravings fade, the motivation comes back. But this time, it's rooted in capacity, not willpower. So if you haven't already, go take the quiz. Seriously, pause this episode and go to themetaboliccompass.com/quiz. It'll take 5 minutes and you'll walk away with more clarity than most people get from $500 worth of lab testing. And if you've already taken it, then choose your reset and begin today. Now, before we wrap, let me give you a preview of what's coming up. In episode 30, we're dialing into the one domain that affects every other reset: sleep. And not just the get 8 hours advice. I'm talking about the real blueprint. How to reset your sleep system, even if you've tried everything. Because when your brain is wired but tired, your gut is off, and your recovery is lagging, this is the domain that has to come first. So if you've struggled with insomnia, cortisol spikes, or waking up feeling wrecked, don't miss it. One final note. We're about to launch a full 10-week guided reset for each compass domain. These are deep dives designed to help you move from drift to alignment with precision, rhythm, and strategy. So whether you're in nurture or energize right now, or just starting out with your first 2-week reset, keep your eyes out. These full resets are coming soon, but it all starts with this step. Take the quiz, trust your biology, and begin your reset today at themetabolic-compass.com/quiz. Your direction is waiting. You've been listening to the Metabolic Compass podcast, where we bridge cutting-edge science with real-life application to help you reclaim your health one directional shift at a time. To learn more, visit us at www.themetabolic-compass.com or follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Metabolic Compass. And if you haven't already, leave a review. It helps others find their way back to alignment too. Recalibrate your biology, rediscover your direction.